Hello, everyone. Sure, isn't there nothing better to see on a hot day than a red-faced Irishman? Unless you want to see sweat just streaming down my face by the end of this, then you might want to switch to audio. I wanted to say this because it's driving me insane. I can't stop thinking about it, and I feel like I have to say it so I can stop thinking about it. But I want to ask Conservative voters, people who have power within the Conservative Party, to really consider electing Kemi Mordaunt as your next leader. And I'll tell you why. Because I think it'll be good for the Conservatives, good for the country, and even good for the Labour Party, which is my natural home, but at the moment is alienating me and many other people with their insane, misogynistic, homophobic, trans women are women cult. Now, the thing is, I know a lot of people think that this is a side issue. In fact, that's what Penny Mordaunt called it. But it's not a side issue to the woman I know in Scotland who can't go to a rape crisis centre because there is a man in charge of it at the moment who said that women who needed female-only care were in need of education. In fact, I believe the phrase was, even bigots get raped. This was said on the Guilty Feminist podcast, who are, as Magdalene Byrne said, guilty with good reason. I want to be careful because I can kind of go down these holes of thinking and I need to try and stay on track. So let me tell you, first of all, why I'm actually a bad person to be listening to at the moment. Things aren't going great for me at the moment. I wrote a musical that's not being made because Jimmy Mulville and Sonia Friedman, for reasons of their own, disagree with my stance and the stance of J.K. Rowling that women's rights are important and they need to be talked about, and trans rights activism is basically a misogynistic movement. That's kind of, a debate that has to be had, but they refuse to have it with me. They refuse to tell me exactly what they disagree with in my position. And so the Father Ted musical is in a bit of a limbo at the moment. The other reason you may not want to listen to me if you're in the Conservative Party is because I have never voted Conservative to my knowledge. I've always been a card-carrying lefty until this latest incarnation of the left, which I don't think is any sane incarnation of the left. I think it has more in common with movements like the Cultural Revolution, the Stalinist show trials, and the McCarthyite years. This is one of those kind of, you might call it a virus that has spread among the left and transformed once very, I would say, proud organizations like Stonewall, Liberty, Amnesty. All these organizations have been corrupted by gender ideology. At the moment, there's a woman in Norway who faces a sentence of 4 years in prison because she said something like men can't be women, which was also the last tweet I said before I was booted off. Amnesty will never support that woman because Amnesty has been corrupted by this misogynistic ideology. The whole of the left has. It has absolutely destroyed the left, I think, perhaps for a generation. For one thing, they've alienated hundreds of labor activists, women, with this sexist, again, homophobic, misogynistic, whatever you want to call it, bizarre love affair they have with gender ideology. Not only that, but they have destroyed the, what would you say, integrity of otherwise perfectly capable, centrist Labour women leaders. People like Stella Creasy, people like Angela Rayner, who just today said trans women are women. These women have been kind of made to look very weak and silly because of this movement. Lisa Nandy will never be Prime Minister because she said that male sex offenders should be housed with female prisoners. No one who can fall for this con job to that extent will ever be Prime Minister, okay? So it's been a disaster for the left. And the thing is, if the Conservatives elect Penny Mordaunt, they will remove their ability to attack Labour on that front. And Labour are incredibly vulnerable on that front. You don't want to lose that weapon against them. You may think this is a side issue. You may think this is a small thing, but it's not to many of the people it affects. These are people in care homes, people in shelters, people in rape crisis centres. You know, it does matter to those people. And we all know people like that in our lives. So don't think this is a small issue, first of all. But even if you do, purely on a strategic level, if Penny Mordaunt is against Keir Starmer, then you will have two people who basically agree with each other on this most divisive issue, the most divisive issue I think I've ever seen. You know, we will never accept trans women or women as a statement of truth because it endangers women. It endangers women. 2 women just got pregnant in a women's prison, you know? So we will never accept it and stop trying to ram it down our throats. Sorry. Anyway, so that's the position. Very entrenched, I guess you could say. Of course, among the trans people who are in this fight are those who support women. Debbie Hayton, Miranda Yardley, these trans people. Why do we never see them on television? Now, recently I heard that she did this leadership debate, which I didn't watch, and I should have, because I usually hate that kind of theater. If I'd been like further along with my Kemi fandom, I might have watched it, but I didn't. And people said that she appeared nervous. Now, I haven't seen it, and so I might be way off on this, but I would suggest that any discomfort felt at these fake bits of theater is probably a good thing at this stage, you know? We desperately want people who won't lie to our faces, you know? The BBC is lying to our faces. The BBC is lying to children. The BBC is telling children that there are hundreds of genders, confusing them over something that they never had confusion over before. So what we need at the moment for people like Kemi, who I presume hates the BBC, for reasons I've never understood, but then recently the BBC started pumping gender ideology propaganda out, and I suddenly started wondering why I was paying for it when I think it's evil. So if the BBC is to survive in this country, you need people who beforehand, like me, would have fought tooth and nail for it, but now will work with people, you know, to destroy the license fee. Because I won't have gender dysphoria pumped out by the public broadcaster while they refuse to allow a proper debate on this matter. My theory is that Kemi maybe didn't do great in that arena because she is genuine. She actually believes what she says, and she doesn't want to say anything stupid. Now, this isn't an affliction that hits any of the other candidates, I would imagine. So that's why I think you might have someone in her, personally. You know, we want people to stop lying to our faces. These lies are causing a crisis of faith in our institutions and our media. They're choking us. And it's only a matter of time before a Trump-like figure comes along and takes advantage of that and brings us on a roller coaster ride, which none of us will enjoy. Excuse me for using a Trumpism, but Penny Mordaunt is a phony who lies with every breath about her history of trying to erase and endanger women with her privileged, faddish, luxury belief in gender ideology. You watch when people ask her for a definition of the word woman. She'll never give it. She'll say things like, I'm a woman. Yeah, great stuff. But that was not what you were asked. What is her answer to the question we can answer so easily? What stops her from simply saying adult human female? Her inability to answer that question tells you who she'll be serving as soon as she's safe in the spot, and that's Stonewall. She received a Pink News Award, which is a magazine that was successfully sued by 2 high-profile lesbians. It's run over 75 pieces on me, I believe, and it famously ran 42 stories on J.K. Rowling in, I think it was a single week. 42 stories in a week. So this is a magazine that only exists to attack women. Penny Mordaunt received an award from them. It seems to me that the difference between Kemi and every other virtue signaling politician on this matter is that she is telling the truth. And, you know, that even goes so far as to angering a lot of people because she's a conservative, okay? But my God, I would rather that any day of the week than this misogyny by stealth that the Labour Party is indulging in. So I not only will, if Kemi gets into power, I'll happily write jokes for her, you know, because these people need to be defeated. And this current incarnation of the Labour Party needs to be buried and the earth salted. You know, I'm hoping that this will help put someone into the Labour Party who can tell the truth so that we can have 2 political parties for whom it will be a scandal if they lie. So that's why I think you should vote for Kemi. I think Kemi will wipe the floor with the Labour Party. And the sooner that happens, the better, because the Labour Party needs to be rebuilt. And every other centrist or left-wing party. Yeah, so that's it. Vote Kemi, please, but definitely not Penny. So yeah, so it's a bit of a strange video for me to make, and a strange plea for me to make. But the way I feel at the moment is I just want people to start telling the truth, and I just want it to start being controversial when people don't tell the truth. And at the moment, the entire media class is engaging in a huge lie, a cover-up almost. You know, we're going to see the results of it soon. The detransitioners who are telling the same stories, and more and more of them are coming out. The women who've lost their livelihoods, all of this is going to become the scandal that it actually is. But at the moment, for some reason, people can't see. And when it does, you want someone like Rosie Duffield in an important position in the Labour Party. That's a matchup I'd like to see. Rosie versus Kemi. Let's have that happen. Anyway, bye. Thank you, everyone.